Welcome to Cooperville.
It's time for the big show. Let's party. Here we go. Aliens, Joe. Aliens. Welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. It's Cooperville Live. A very happy Thursday to you. Thirsty Thursday. Bottoms up. Buckle up. Joe Stamm is going to be joining the show momentarily. Stand back, non-believers, or the rain will never come. Well, it will. Joe's already jamming to Joe Stamm on Spotify, man. He's got the show going. He's got Joe Stamm on Spotify. This show just self-promotes itself. Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. There we are. Live and in person, welcome to the program. So glad you are here. Wherever you are watching, namaste. Namaste. That's right. Joe Stamm of the Joe Stamm Band standing by. He's going to be on the show in just moments. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be in-depth. It could be controversial. We don't know. All I know is, if by the end of this show, if we are not sponsored by Busch Light, we have done something wrong, my friends. Send the call out. Hashtag Busch Light. Throwing it out there. I'm saying. Between Joe and I, we probably keep that place in business. You want to know why you guys are getting Busch Light Apple again? It's because Joe and I are putting down regular BL on a regular. We're funding the machine. La Machina. That's Spanish. That's what we do. Let's hit those sponsors quick. Ooh, we flipped the script. Captain Coop's Beard Company for all your beard pleasures. Beard oils, beard balms, beard butters. Make your beard beautiful. As we like to say, better beard, better booty, because it's pirate themed, you see? CaptainCoops.com. Cooperville Clothing. As we talked about, we have a new, not just a new item dropping tomorrow, we have a whole new line coming tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Or is it Daylight Savings Time? Central Time. Whatever. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., a whole new collection joins Cooperville Clothing. You're not going to miss it. Check out all of our socials and, of course, CoopervilleClothing.com. By the way, Patreons, we're going to be throwing on a 20% discount if you join our Patreon, which link is below the script. Yeah, check that out. And, of course, Midwest Meals, MidwestMeals.com. Meal prep out the window, 16 signature meals, or you can build your own at MidwestMeals.com. Promo code is Cooper at checkout, and you get 10% off your first order, MidwestMeals.com. They doing it right over there, those folks. Dan Beck and crew doing it the right way. And, by the way, they do ship nationwide. As you know, wherever you are, if you're watching from afar or from a near or from Fond du Lac, they will ship to your house. So don't need to be local. You can be wherever you are in the continental, I believe it's continental United States. I believe that's it. So good stuff. Hope you all had a great Thursday. The fair has started here in the area. Trace Atkins was in town last night, and I love the fair. It memories of knee high to a grasshopper and all the rides and all the food, and of course Wisconsin cheese curds and corn dogs and funnel cake and all that shit. Like, I love it. But Mama Joe's in house. What's up, Jody? How you doing? Patreon right there. She knows what's up. But here's the one thing that I was watching we didn't go to the show. We were working on this launch we have coming up on Friday, but I've seen Trace like 5 or 6 times, so it was okay. We're good. But I was watching pictures and videos being posted of the performance, and it's like, man, you got those seats right up front. You got those chairs right in the front. You paid extra for them. Stand up. Stand up and enjoy the show. Be a honky-tonk, badonky-donk, and all that shit. Like, stand up. But I watched the same person taking the same picture from the same angle throughout the show, and the people in the front were still sitting down. I'm like, I'd come down there and tell you to stand up. Shouldn't have to do that. But, alas, I love the county fair. I think we're going tomorrow. The helicopter rides were flying over the house today, and I was like, man. Junior's in town, Mini Coop is here, and he's like, we going on that? It's like, I guess I'm going to take out a small loan to go on a helicopter ride tomorrow. It'll be fun. But I think, who's tonight? Hairball tonight, Landco tomorrow, and Grand Funk Railroad is on Saturday. Good stuff. Northern Wisconsin State Fair. It's a great state fair. So, as you all know the backstory, because I talked about this when we did the big Country Fest recap last week already, man. Where does time gone? I met Joe Stamm at Country Fest, and I knew we were peeps because he was already drinking when we did our interview together at like 11 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I'm already a couple in too. So I felt where he was. And then I got a chance to see him perform, not only on the main stage at Country Fest, but also on the Crossroads stage. Good stuff, man. I love the sound. I got to dig deeper into the story, and I'm not sure if it was bribery or how it worked out, but Joe agreed to be on this show, and he is now on this show. Joe Stamm, how you doing, my friend?
I'm on.
You're on. We're on. We're live. We're live now.
Right on. You kind of swung me in there.
I like to make things
snuck it in on me.
Snuck it right in. I like to hit the intro. I see.
So if as far as the bribe was concerned to get on here, is that like a check in the mail that's coming, or
as my father used to say, the check is in the mail.
Okay.
And I believe it
All
was.
right.
I believe that was the child support check, and I'm still waiting. I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
41 now. I'm still waiting for that check to come, and whether it clears or not, I mean that's up for debate. But how you doing, my friend? It's been a couple weeks, but you've been a busy cat since we last saw each other.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm busy, I guess, like as you just said. Yeah, but we've been home, so that was part of a run of shows where I really wasn't home for about 3 weeks. So,
Mm.
except for 1 or 2 nights here and there. So I've slept in my own bed for the last week and a half. It's been great.
Are you missing Vanna already, though?
No, no, we get plenty of time in Vanna. I was in her last night. That sounds terrible.
Hold up. Wait, where's the edit button? Where's the beat button?
Yeah,
Vanna
we're in the
is the
van.
sprinter, is the van named Vanna.
Yes, yeah. We've still been in the van plenty. It's been like hour and a half trips.
Mm.
Last night was an hour and a half trip and back to a show. So we've still been getting in the van. It's just that at the end of the trip we get to been sleeping in our beds a little bit more, which is nice.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. One of the best pictures of Country Fest was Vanna parked next to the Kane Brown fleet. Like, Vanna can hold her own. I was like, yeah. Get that?
So are you familiar with my song "Pearls to Pigs," Cooper?
Yes. I've
Okay.
been diving in deep since I gave the crash
All
course
right.
in Joe Stamm right before we did our interview.
So, great. So there is the line in that says, we don't play no Kane Brown or any pop country S word. I don't know if we can cuss in this
We can
program.
cuss. We
So
have to.
okay, great. And so my friends and fans got a big kick out of that one. And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, and I don't begrudge Kane Brown for anything he does. Obviously, he's doing really well, and I even threw him a completed pass that afternoon, which I think will be one of the footnotes in my career, I'm sure, as I talk about the time I completed a football pass to Kane Brown. But so yeah, that was kind of the backstory on that picture that I thought that folks really got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
And I got a kick out of it.
It came full circle for real. Like, it was like
Yeah.
one of those moments in time. I'm like, and then I heard the song and I'm like, aha, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
But the football
Yeah,
story makes it even better.
and we should probably mention that was just one of Kane's semi rigs. Not counting his at least one or two tour buses as well. So,
Well,
and then we just got our little van there with our nice little trailer. Gets us around the Midwest.
gets us from point A to point B. It's all we need. We don't need no
That's
rigs
right.
like that. No, and
That's right.
we were watching actually from afar. We saw the football being tossed around backstage, which is one of those kind of cool moments. I'm sure for you to kind of be a part of, and I know the artist back there was, for that kind of festival. It's one of the first times that you've had a lot of artists like together at one time in one juncture. So I know the guys from High Valley were out there playing. I know you were out there playing, and Kane was out there playing. It was kind of one of those just unique moments that most people don't get a chance to see because obviously it's backstage. But did you warm the shoulder up? I know it probably brought back some memories. You were probably going.
Yeah, the shoulder. It's about the one overhand pass that I can do about every couple of years, maybe. Because I have a really bad shoulder. So, but it was okay. It was the one thing I was surprised at. It was like a kind of like a greasy, round, weird football. You'd think like Kane Brown would have the budget for like a legitimate, like NCAA. Game ball or a NFL game ball, so it was like a Walmart. It was kind of a cheap ball. I was a little surprised at that.
Yeah, I would have thought he had a guy that would have loosened it up a little bit for him too. The guy that comes, scuffs up the ball, makes sure you got a good.
Yeah,
grip on
absolutely.
There,
It was like slippery.
Yeah.
It was like slippery and basketball-ish almost. You'd think, he'd get like a Super Bowl official game ball or something.
Tom Brady autographed.
Could probably pull some strings, to Ken Brown.
Make some phone calls.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in a different truck. They couldn't find that truck. They're like, oh, it's in the third one over. We couldn't.
But my next goal though is to play two-hand touch with the Oak Ridge Boys. I think if I could. I think that really would have been the bucket list item there for the backstage stuff.
I'm not a betting man, But in this instance, I'm gonna throw some coin down on you. I'm gonna hedge my bets, and I'm putting it on Joe Stamm v. the Oak Ridge Boys. That was a weird thing. So I came out to take the Oak Ridge Boys off stage, and the stage manager's like, "Go, go, 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 go!" And I got up, and I was like, "That was legendary! Oh my gosh!" And then they all started coming back up. I'm like, "Oh, they're not done." Yeah, they forgot to tell somebody that they were coming back, and I think just because of the speed of everything, it wasn't moving. Like, oh, they're sauntering off,
Right.
and I'm like, hey, that was great, and they came back, and I was like, I'm gonna go because I don't belong here, clearly by a couple of years, but it was a great time, a great weekend, and great to be back. In Cadott to have a festival, but I want to go back and kind of tell your story. Obviously, we talked a little bit about football. That was kind of the first love for those of you who are joining and don't know.
Yeah.
Joe was like, you're like hometown boy. Like, I'm surprised they probably have written country songs about you. You don't even know yet because you're like the quarterback. You know, you go to two state championship games. You know, you go to college, the injury, and then the rubber meets the road, and And Tada, then I'm just gonna do music then. You know, like it's fine. Like I'll do music.
Yeah, I joke that I had to figure out, you know, being at the center of attention for most of my life by that point. I had to figure out something where people would still, you know, pay attention to me. So it was.
I get that.
Turned out to be playing guitar and writing songs and singing. So it's been great, man. I mean, if you'd have told me. Shoot, if you'd have told me, you know, like 15 that I was going to make a living playing music, I couldn't have ever even. I could have guessed for 3 days straight about what I was going to do for a living, and a musician would never have come up. So, it's been a weird road and an interesting ride, but you know, it's been a good one.
Yeah. So they were these two career paths were. Did they interject at all, or was it you were strictly on, you know, into athletics, into sports, into football, and then music, or was there any intertwining, or did the rubber really meet the road, and then it went football done, music go?
Yeah, it was. There was no crossover in that Venn diagram whatsoever. It was, you know, I had the injury, and I went to Northern Illinois University on a scholarship, and I never got to play because they thought my shoulder was going to get better after the first surgery. It didn't. So after a year there, the doctors and trainers were like, man, you just need to, you know, call a spade here. So we did. And then I kept going there for a couple of years. I was still on scholarship, and me being young and dumb and much to my father's chagrin, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to this expensive private school and leave my full ride scholarship behind, and you know, play defense. You know, I'll be free safety, and I'm going to go to this school instead. And so I did that, and I got through like one season there playing free safety with help of a couple cortisone shots, and then I had to get surgery after that year, and that was the last one. So that was all right. You're done. No, I got through a full year, and then I played 2 games in the last season in my senior year, and then they were like, "All right, you're done," because it was really fragile at that point. But then that spring semester, I had to take some kind of arts course to graduate, and so they had intro to guitar. I was like, you know, and can do that. And I just kept going. My roommates were guitar players, so that helped. And I just learned, and I was writing songs within a couple months. Really bad songs, but I was writing songs within a couple of months of learning guitar, and the rest, you know, just kind of unfolded from there. I went to Downers Grove, Illinois, and sold copiers right out of college, and had a couple other jobs over the course of probably 10 years before I went full time into music. So it was a while before it materialized into a real thing. But thankfully, I was ignorant enough and had no idea how bad I was to start. So I got right out there, you know, was playing these bars solo by myself in St. Charles, Illinois for a couple of years, and just kind of been learning how bad I was as I've went along and tried to improve. You know?
So it's like a learn on the job kind of thing. Like,
absolutely. fake it till you make it,
Yeah.
man. That whole thing. Yeah.
So I do have to ask, since we kind of touched on football a little bit, like Illinois, is it Metamora, Illinois? Is that the hometown?
Yeah.
So how does a kid from Metamora, Illinois, end up as a Steelers fan? Like, what was it? Was it family? It's got to be family influence, because I'm from Wisconsin, and I know where my allegiances lie. And I know people from Illinois, and I know where their allegiances lie. Like, Steelers is a little left of center for folks from the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, once you wear a Steelers tattoo like I've got right here, I mean, they come out of the woodwork, and the Steelers travel really well. They're like the Yankees of football in that respect. Or maybe, I don't know about, one of the, like Dallas is probably a little bit more popular nationwide. But my brother is 10 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was a kid, was like, the Steel Curtain, Bradshaw era, at least the tail end of it. And so he hopped on the bandwagon. So his allegiance is a little bit more shameless than mine, because I'm just a little kid who was copying off my brother.
Right.
So I've been a Steelers fan as long as I've been around. But I am otherwise, and I was always one of those kids too, where I didn't want to do what every other kid was doing. Because I was a kid when the Bulls were winning, like 6 championships. But I was a Sonics fan. I liked Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, yeah.
Yeah. And I've come around to be, if I was an NBA fan anymore, I would probably have come around to be a Bulls fan by now, as I've come around to be a Cubs fan. But because as a kid, I got those Ricky Henderson neon yellow green gloves, man.
They make you faster.
And yeah, they make you faster. And I had a ball glove that Eric Davis was from Cincinnati was the had the signature on. So I was a big Eric Davis and Oakland A's fan as a kid. Just because I just didn't, I don't know, it felt cliche to be a Bulls fan or a Cubs fan or a Bears fan. I think this is what some solidarity that me and some Wisconsin folks can find, is that I still hate the Bears. Like,
yeah. Congratulations.
I have no sympathy for the Bears. I mean, they're just such a
yeah, that's I have family that kind of the same story. Like, I think somebody's uncle was from Chicago, and then so they became a Bears fan, like the only one in the family. And it used to be like a headbutting thing, and now it's like, oh man, like, I'm sorry, like, I feel really bad. I feel really bad for you. I know, it's so bad. It's just so tough. Like,
it's like people give me a hard time, from around here in Illinois about being a Steelers fan. It's like, and what I tell them is, thank God I'm a Steelers fan, man, because I'm a Cubs fan, so I've had to deal with that, other than the 1 year that was great. Thank God I haven't had to deal with being a Bears fan too. I mean, it's painful.
You get to tell everybody else what it's like to watch professional football after Christmas. They're like, whatever, dude. Whatever. Called the playoffs. You should try them sometime. No, I get it. But it's tough. I mean, that Chicago thing, that's a tough stitch. It'll be an interesting year. Drafted a new quarterback, and we'll see how long.
Interesting for sure.
See how long that goes. I do have some questions that have popped up. Some I grabbed from your Facebook post. So you put it before here.
Cool.
One of your top fans, JF, I think it's Carrick. Asked
Carrick, I think.
Carrick, yes.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. So your least favorite song to play and why? I'm going to throw that in there.
My least favorite song to play. All right. Well, there's a story with this,
okay.
and last year was a tough year, as we all know. But for a band of my level, it's not like we're playing only stadiums and stuff. So we were still able to do a fair amount of touring. It was just like grunt work touring. It was like, hey, do you have a back patio in full sunlight that we can set up on a Sunday afternoon, and make $500, stuff like that. Well, anyways, we played this place in Wisconsin, and it was cool. It was right on the southern edge of Wisconsin, like right after you cross over from Illinois. And they had this stage that was like a dock, like you walked out on the dock and it was on the river, which sounds cool in a sense. But it was like 95 degrees. You had to park about 100 yards from this stage. And we got there late, and I had some new equipment that wasn't working, and nobody cared that we were there. It was one of those, like, places where, you know, an owner and a manager and anybody who had anything to do with booking you is not there.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's all like college kids that are serving, and they don't know who you are. You're an aggravation. They don't care, you know, about you. So it was one of those nights, and we're like halfway through. Oh, and the other thing was, we had to play for 4 hours, and they would only give us one break, and you had to play for the first 2 hours straight, which is just ridiculous.
Oof.
Like, that is just. I had to
No.
talk with my booking agent after that one. But anyways, so I know this is a long way around
No,
getting
good.
to this, but it was kind of a pivotal point in my career so far, because we're playing a lot of shows where we felt like, all right, we got to keep the party going. We got to make sure we're putting in enough covers and doing all that. And that was kind of what I grew the band out of over the course of the first many years that this was going on, just trying to play locally and just trying to get gigs and just trying to keep people there and keep people buying drinks and keep bars hiring us. But second half, we had like half an hour to go, and we're playing. Most of the place had cleared out. There were some people there in lawn chairs that were sticking around that were just clearly there to actually listen. And I had swallowed my third bug, because, you know, by the time, like I said, the stage on the river sounds great until you turn the sun goes down, and the only lights around are stage lights, and the mayflies are just like swarming, man. It was like an apocalyptic event up there. And I had swallowed my third bug, and I was like, if I swallow one more bug, I'm walking off the stage. And we finished playing Dixieland Delight, which is a song that served us well for many years, and it's a classic. And I said, we finished it, and I swallowed the third bug during that song, and I told the audience, what was left of the audience, I said, I'm not playing another cover song for the rest of the show. And we didn't, and it went over really well with the folks that were still there, and I vowed when I walked off that stage I would never play Dixieland Delight live again, and I never have. So I would have to say that's probably a really long answer for a short question of what the song I least like to play. It has nothing to do with that song. It's just that it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of a moment for me. And we've pretty much doubled. We play a lot less covers now, and have since that show. We don't play a whole lot of covers anymore. So.
And of course, we have Joshua Shoemaker just popped on and commented,
Sure.
I missed that song in your set. I miss you guys playing that Dixieland Delight song. Can you play it during the real apocalypse? That would be great.
Yeah.
World
and
is
to be
end.
fair, and to be fair to Joshua, I know him, and he is a huge supporter of our original music and stuff. So I know he means well when he says that. But now he knows why we never play it, and why, on principle, we never will again.
Do you always double check now with your booking agent? Like, so you were playing on a what? We're playing on a dock. I need a 360 visual. I need to know that they have some citronella candles or something, perhaps.
Right. There is so many things. There's so many details like that you just cannot anticipate. You know, bad sound guys, and they say, "Oh, it's house sound." Like, "Oh, great, we don't have to bring a sound system or run it." Oh man, but you know, there's no way of knowing whether the people know what the heck they're doing, and often a lot of times they don't. So there's just nightmare situations you can't anticipate. But the one thing I have told him, and I think we have one grandfathered in 4-hour show booked here towards the end of July in Savannah, Illinois. But I did tell him, like, no more 3-hour shows, like hard line. And you know, for a while it was hard. He'd be like, man, but this is a really good place. I want to get you in here. And it's like, no more 3-hour shows. And now we would like to scale the 3-hour shows even back. Right. But you know, some of that you can control. But so there's in a way that, we're always communicating with the booking agent. He's great about taking that stuff and saying, all right, noted. You know, we won't go back there, stuff like that. But some situations you just can't possibly anticipate.
Now, I know you guys had been doing, like, I saw at one point, like 150 days out, you know, on the road, just, you know, doing shows here, there, all around the square. Now, 2020 hits, and that's obviously much more challenging. You talked about doing it, but it was a hustle, it was a grind, it was playing on the dock and in places where they would allow you to play. It feels like, though, you're kind of back to the trajectory you were on before when you have, I just looked at your tour date list and you're like, we're knocking them down, setting them up and knocking them down here during July and August. And then even talking about that October show that I know you guys announced with Whiskey Myers, which we'll talk about later. Do you feel like it's like things have kind of come full circle when you got past whatever the hell that was in the rearview mirror of 2020 and you're back to kind of doing what the JSB does?
Yeah, for sure. And we're getting ready to announce a tour that'll run. So this is just brilliant. So we, and this is totally my fault and indicative of just like why I'm exhausted all the time. So we're doing a summer tour that goes up until the Tri-State Rodeo in Iowa, September 9th, I think we have a 2-day, 8th and 9th at the Tri-State Rodeo. And then this is kind of we haven't told anybody this, but I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody, but we're starting a album tour 2 days later. So we have 1 day off between summer tour, album tour that's taking us through to the end of November. And I think oh man, I think it's 30 dates in like 2 months, maybe like 2 months and a week or something that'll be over the course of the fall schedule. And then I'm taking the holidays off.
I'm gonna take a little break.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's so even what's on our schedule right now is only half the picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been, we're busy, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great,
I know.
So, and they're better, and they're the more gigs too that are more. And this is not to say anything about the places we played last summer. We met some wonderful people. It was just, when you go through the summer months, a lot of times you're going to like festivals where you're all, 45 minutes on off. You're not carrying your own stuff. Some of that's awkward too. Like at Country Fest, you've got all these stagehands that are hired to carry your stuff from the trailer to where you're setting up. And it's like, we're just a bunch of blue collar Midwesterners, and we're like, no, you don't have to carry my bag.
I got it, man.
It's
good. No worries.
But heck, you got it. But you didn't last year. You didn't have any of those shows, where you weren't setting up your own PA, where you were, where you were, 15-minute load in and 15-minute load out, because all you had to get was your guitar and your cable bag, and you're in the van and out the door. There wasn't any of that stuff last. So it was nothing against the places we played last year. We had some great times and some great spots, but it was tough. It was a grind for sure.
I know we had a chance to chat at Fest when we did our interview, and we talked about Midwest Town and pre-ordering the album, and what we had told people is to book off the entire month of September in anticipation of the album drop. And I know pre-orders are still available. I want to make sure people know that they can still do that up until and now you talk about the album tour, which is obviously coming off of that. So you got to have, it's got to be exciting that the wheels are kind of kicking up a lot of mud these days, from Fest and then into the month of July and into September and now into the fall tour.
I am, and we're really excited about turning this record loose. I mean, it was because in the midst of all that grind touring we did last summer, we were working on this album. We were practicing every week for hours, working on this record, trying to tighten up the live set, and we pretty much recorded this record through the pandemic year, and I think it's the best work we've ever done. I would hope I'd say that about any record that we release.
Right.
I would hate to be here and be like, yeah, it's not necessarily the best record we've ever released, but we got to do it, But yeah, so in September it's going to release, and if you do the math on what I was just talking about with our summer tour to our album tour, you can probably figure out when the release date's going to be. But we're actually going to announce that on Tuesday. So this Tuesday we'll be announcing when the album's going to release, and we'll be announcing when the first pre-release single is going to pre-release as well. So I'm excited, man. We're right on the door of just being able to finally roll all this stuff out, which is great.
Yeah, and I imagine it's difficult to hold all that close to the vest for as long as you've had to do that, knowing that what it took to put it together. You're like, what? Like anytime now? Like, can we get this done? It's got to feel good though to have it on the cusp of happening very soon.
It does, and there's so much planning we still got to kind of iron out. And we got an album release party that we're planning that's going to be freaking killer, and we'll be telling people about that here in 2 or 3 weeks as well. So
Awesome.
and we'll be rolling out the dates and locations for the tour pretty soon as well. And it's called Midwest Town, so you can guess we're probably going to hit a lot of
Totally
Midwest
Yeah,
towns.
you're totally going out west. Don't lie to people.
Yeah.
Midwest town. We're leaving. We're out of here.
The Midwest Town tour. We're going to tour the East and West Coast.
Yeah, I love it. It's good. It's good planning. It's good planning. Got another question here from the post on Facebook from Tommy Summers. Tommy Summers was one of the great photographers at Country Fest, and we got some great shots of you on stage. Tommy Summers, and he actually did a post, I think, about one of his favorite bands that he discovered at Fest was you guys. Tommy's a good friend, but he asked your favorite rock band and why.
My favorite rock band's got to be Creedence.
Yeah,
you know. They were just. I remember I had the Chronicles record, which was like the Chronicles 1 record was like their first. It was the greatest hits. It had like 20 Creedence greatest hits on it, and I spun that thing to death in high school, and it turned out to be then a huge influence on me as I became an actual musician and songwriter. So Creedence without a hitch. It would have to be if you say the greatest rock band, that would absolutely have to be it for me.
I was going to ask that too when you talked about the being sports and music kind of being never intertwining until your sports career was done, until your football career was done, and recognizing that the music that was influencing you while you were playing ended up being the music that influenced you when you started actually playing the music. So, Creedence is in there. And I know there was a Johnny Cash thing too. I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. I know there was a lot of that great, old country and that Southern rock that kind of blended itself into, as you so eloquently put it, putting the cock in country rock since 2013. We can say that on the show. This is not FCC regulated, so we're good.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. It was really a fusion, and it's so cliche to say, yeah, man, I was really influenced by Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and all those guys. I would say, but it's certainly a fusion of like the classic country, because I definitely went through that stage in my early 20s. I went through that. I mean, I'd go to Walmart and look through the $5 CD bin, and if there was a George Jones CD that had 10 tracks on it, and there was one song that I didn't have on any of the other 45 George Jones CDs I had, I would buy it. So I went through that whole classic country stage. I had gone through the Southern rock stage, I think, which is a rite of passage, I think, for any teenage Midwestern kid or Southern kid or anywhere. Yeah. And then I was really into the red dirt thing, like with Texas music. Like Pat Green was really hot at the time in Texas. And Reckless Kelly and Chris Knight is a songwriter in Kentucky that I'm an absolute fanatic over. And so it's really a fusion, I would think, of all that stuff, and none of it's intentional. I don't know if our stuff's in 90s country, like Travis Tritt and Black Hawk and all that stuff. It's like I said, it's not like I've ever intentionally set out to create a sound that was like anybody, and I don't even know if our stuff sounds like any of these influences that I'm mentioning, but I have to imagine that some of it comes through, because that's what I've listened to for the last 20 years,
It's a process of osmosis. It just absorbs itself into your brain. It's totally osmosis.
Absolutely. One would think, yeah.
I heard on the way, I went and picked up my son in the UP today, and on the way back, they do like this on the local radio station. They'll do like a classic hit. And my definition of a classic hit on a country station is probably a little bit different than theirs. And I spent 20 years in radio, so I know what they're trying to do. But it was Country Club by Travis Tritt. And I was like, give me the damn greatest hits album, because I'm going on a Travis Tritt binge, this weekend. Because I remember all that whole 90s boom of country. And, kind of,
awesome.
And that Travis Tritt had that real more rugged. I mean, him and Marty Stewart, the Marty party doing all the stuff, and Marty's hair and Travis's hair and just frills, and it was just, I'm like, damn. So I'm going on a whole like recollective thing over the course of the weekend. But another question from the Facebook, the Book of Face, from Justin Terry wants to know do you miss playing football? Do you miss football?
No.
Mm-mm.
Not even a little bit. I just to the it hurts to even think about throwing a football. So I
Mm.
think that's part of why I don't anymore. I think every once in a while I miss having like a purpose to work out and to really grind. There's something that's special about that that physical that physical grind when it comes to preparing for something. And I still have football dreams. I have basketball dreams
Mm.
too. And it's always where, I get to the field and I don't have my shoes on, and have to run back to the locker room, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I don't. There were some years after, obviously that whole dream ended prematurely. And there were some years where it was tough to get up on Saturday mornings and
Mm.
put on college game day, and
Yeah.
watch those games. But no, it's been a long time since I actually wished I was going out there and getting hit.
Yeah. I don't miss that part. I played in high school, not well, but I had a cousin who was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was like set the conference rushing title, like touchdowns and yards. So they looked at me like I was going to beat him, and I'm like, well, so you look like a running back. I'm like, no, I don't at all. Get in the gym, do all the things, lift all the weights. They're like,
Yeah.
I like you at cornerback. I'm like, all right, well, I guess opposite end of the spectrum.
Cornerback in a running league.
Yeah. I'll be in the back. I'll be over here. A little skinny guy, not doing anything. Justin had a follow-up question. Obviously, being from Illinois, do you have a favorite state outside of Illinois to play shows at that really has embraced the Joe Stamm Band?
Man, we love playing in Iowa and Missouri.
Yeah.
And that's not to say anything against like Wisconsin. Like, I would say Iowa and Missouri are probably one of the two states where it seems like we can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Wisconsin, Nebraska, Kentucky, Indiana, and have like spots where we can go,
Right.
that are wonderful. But Iowa has really become one of our favorite places to go. It's right across the, we're 2.5 hours from Iowa City, and there's like a corridor. There's like an I-80 corridor where we seem to do really well. We kind of hop from Iowa City to Des Moines and then out to Omaha, and but Missouri has been really good for us too. So I'd say, which makes sense, it's like, it's a little circle in the middle of the Midwest. It's closest to home. So, but that's been great. But it's cool because one thing that Dave, our guitar player, always notes is that, man, it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't matter where we go. It might not be 100 people or 50 even some places, but there's usually at least a handful of people that show up no matter what weird corner place in the Midwest or wherever that knows who we are, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think there's a gaining fans aspect of it too. I mean, I'm myself, and I mentioned Tommy Summers, who's from the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. So you're talking more that metropolitan Midwest with vibe.
Yeah.
But I mean, just there's a gravitational pull with you guys and your sound because it's like, okay, you mentioned all the influences that you had, but you're like, there's your own sound. Like nobody else for a 3.5-day music festival sounded like the Joe Stamm Band. You were your own unique entity. Cool. And I think that's that. You go to a show like a festival like Country Fest, or you go to somewhere else where you're playing with another band, and people are like, "Yeah, this is my jam now. These are my fellows." Cool. And we're trying to keep Busch Light in business all at the same time. So we're.
I love the intro. You're like, "Hey, we're bonding over here, and we were both drinking beer at 11 o'clock in the morning."
I was.
We were bonding over alcoholism. Yeah.
Like, good morning, Joe. Nice to meet you. I'm Cooper. You were having a Bud Light though, and you're like, like I don't know, like where do I go from here? I feel like if I don't change the trajectory of the day, things are going to take an odd turn. But you did get back on the Busch Light bandwagon, so it's good. I feel better.
Yeah, well, I think we played. What time did we play? We played at like 1.
Yeah, it was like 12:50. I think was the main stage, and then you guys ended up to Crossroads after that.
So you got to get a little bit lubed up, you know. It's like I sat down here at this nice picnic table, and at 4:45, I was like, all right, I'm gonna crack my first beer to get ready for the Cooper Live show.
It makes sense. It's how
I warm up gotta warm up the personality a bit,
loosen the shoulders, get the liver functioning in its proper form again. No, I think it's
absolutely
great. I want to talk about the Firewater Music Festival, which I saw you posted about earlier. Huge Whiskey Myers fan. Those guys are
Unbelievable.
incredible group. And this is the first year, right? Firewater this is the first year they're doing it.
Yeah, they're supposed to do it last year, of
Yeah.
course, and then that didn't happen, obviously. But yes, this is the inaugural year of it, and man, we're psyched. It's because it's one thing to be a part of like Country Fest, where there's like, 375 different artists that are at the festival, and
Pretty close.
you're one of them.
Yeah.
But to be a part of that very small group of people playing Whiskey Myers' inaugural music festival is incredible, and the list of acts that are there, are just here. I mentioned Chris Knight already, Steelwoods, Whiskey Myers, of course, Whitey Morgan, Shane Smith and the Saints. I'm actually wearing a Shane Smith and the Saints shirt right now because I'm a merch junkie. Like I do all my shopping at band merch tables. So it's hard not for me to have some gear like that on. But Jamie Wyatt, is somebody I recently discovered. She had that Neon Cross record that's slamming. Ray Wiley Hubbard, like that, and it's again, like it's not a big list of people, and how we found our way onto the bill, I have no idea, but I'm super excited about it.
And you guys are playing both nights? Oh
man, I wish, because nobody's playing both days except for Whiskey Myers. They're doing a late night acoustic set on Friday, and then they're headlining the main stage on Saturday. But man, I wish, and the son of a gun, we got booked like a few hours away on Saturday, so I can't stick around and get to see the Saturday show. It's like, man, it's a bummer.
It'd be a good. It's just a hell of. I saw that lineup. I saw you post it, and I remember seeing it last year. It's reflecting my memory. Like, oh yeah, they were going to put on this thing, and then I saw it get posted when you put it up, and that's a hell of a weekend down in Kansas City. So good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It's going to be great. Kind of right in the middle of our album tour, fall, and it's definitely one that's got a star next to it.
Very cool. Well, Joe, thank you again for jumping on the show and telling all the stories, man. I think we could go on over bush lights and a campfire. I think that's probably the next show. We'll get a campfire in the background and make things happen.
No, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do a part 2, man.
Oh yeah,
the half hour flew by.
There'll be a follow. There'll be a part 2 to this one. Absolutely.
Part 2.
Part 2 is coming soon. But I want to let people know. Obviously, check out your tour dates at Stamm. At JoeStammBand.com is the website. And but are you still doing fan submitted videos for Midwest Town, the video for Midwest Town?
Yes, we are. And I have not put that link on our website, but you just go to our Facebook account and scroll down until you find there's a couple posts about it. And what we're doing is we're putting together a music video for the first single that's going to be off this record. It's called Midwest Town, which is the title track, of course. And we're taking fan videos of not only like people who come to our shows, but their own hometowns. Drive by your town's population sign and take a video. Take a video of local landmarks around your town, of hanging out at your local dive bar with your friends or whatever, and you can submit that. Keep it short, like 30 seconds or less. And there's a secure Dropbox link that you can go to and upload those videos, and they'll all get looked at, and we'll kind of curate them, and videographer will put them into a music video. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Obviously, we haven't done anything like this before, so we're hoping it'll be kind of unique and that people will be able to take some ownership over the music video as well.
Yeah, I mean, what a cool project to be a part of as a fan, or just as somebody who has discovered you, and their town becomes a part of Midwest Town because, i.e., it is a Midwest town. Thank you. I mean, it's been great. Next time, again, campfire, bush lattes, all the good stuff. And I saw there's some Wisconsin dates on this first run in July. So if you see me in a crowd, don't be afraid.
Sounds good. And there will definitely be the Midwest Town Tour. It was very intentionally, hey, we need to make sure we hit everywhere. So if you look on our dates at JoeStammBand.com and you don't see your state or your area, hang with us, because we're going to release those tour dates within the next few weeks, hopefully. And we're hitting Indiana and Ohio and Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota and Nebraska and Iowa and Missouri and Illinois, of course. And so we're going to make sure we try to get everywhere we can in that 2.5 months, 3 months that we're going to be on tour for that album.
Awesome. And Busch Light, if you're watching, we're going to need some sponsorship for the show.
Yeah, man.
Tour.
I've been, and for me, you know,
Yeah,
I've been cranking these
you.
things down for years, trying to, you know, I haven't actually approached anybody about it, but I just figured that maybe one of these days, you know, somebody from Busch Light will look up Joe Stamm and then look through one of our social media, you know, like look at my Instagram wall and be like, dude, this guy drinks. This guy promotes for us all the time. But the problem is he's going to be like, man, he's doing it for free. Why would we pay him to do it?
Yeah. I mean, they could probably, you know, supplement some of that with beer. Like, here's some corn cases, you know, be on your way, sir. Maybe a T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah. I told him between you and me, that's the reason they have Busch Light Apple now is because we help fund the new project. And so everybody who's drinking
have you drank much of that apple stuff? Is it any good?
It's not like a cider. It just tastes like you have a glass of apple juice and you have a Busch Light and you just kind of drink it both at the same time.
Okay.
It's refreshing, but after like the third one, you're like, I have some questions about life.
Yeah.
I have some things, but just the way they do things. Their marketing guys like, we're going to do it once, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I think they're pretty well set on as much Busch Light as you and I drink. They're like, well, whatever.
Yeah, they're getting savvy over there at Busch Light. You know, they become very trendy and they know it.
Yes.
You know,
we're getting
here in the Midwest at least.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, always a pleasure, man. Let's get you back on here. We'll do part 2, and hopefully we'll see you on the road sometime very soon, man. Take care of yourself and bottoms up,
Thanks,
my friend.
Cooper.
Anytime.
Yeah,
man.
appreciate you, brother.
Anytime. Here we go. Joe Stamm, the Joe Stamm Band. Check out joestammband.com. They have a ton of tour dates, and there's going to be more added when they go on the Midwest Town Tour that will start in September. The new album you can pre-order at their website as well. Check them out on all the socials. Yeah, we're going to have Joe back on for part 2. But I think there has to be like a fire pit. You know what I'm saying? Like we need like an outdoor vibe. Maybe we'll get back on that deck he talked about playing in southern Wisconsin. And maybe no bugs. Great stuff, though. joestammband.com, Joe Stamm Band on all the socials as well. Thank you to everybody who's jumping in the chat here as well. Best JSB original song, Crow Creek. Yeah, good one. More people missing out and loving Dixieland Delight. Man, but it's got a story to it. There's a reason behind the fact that they're no longer playing that song as part of the live set. JF, we asked your question. Which was favorite song to play. Least favorite song to play, and it was Dixieland Delight. So it all kind of ties that little package together. Very nice. Nick, we'll go see them. They're in Cameron. They're playing Cameron, Wisconsin. I don't know. I'll check the tour dates, but they're playing in Cameron. Bring Busch Light. Bring lots of Busch Light. Hi, Mom. Thanks for tuning in from California, live and direct. Yes, we will have Joe back on very, very soon. Absolutely. Cameron. Yeah, it's the Cameron Show. Check out the website, joestammband.com. Bring cases of Busch Light as thank you to him and his great music, and the new album comes out in September. In the meantime, you can always go and check out The Good and the Crooked and The High and the Horny, their last album. 20 minutes from Joe. So that means it's 50 minutes from us. Good stuff. Hope you all have a great night. We're back on the show tomorrow, perhaps. We have no guests. Weekends here, so we'll see what happens. We got a big week lined up next week, though, so make sure you check us out on all the socials to find out who will be joining us next week. It's a big one. It's going to be a big week. Y'all have a great night. Hit the links. We out. Peace! As they say. Peace, love one another, all the things. And a friendly reminder, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, new line dropping at CoopervilleClothing.com. New patrons at patreon.com/CoopervilleLive at 20% discount. That code goes live tomorrow as well. Making things happen around here. Now I want a Busch Light. Damn it, Joe. Not supposed to drink during the week. I digress. Have a great night, y'all.